Hello, everybody. Scott Golden, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. Join us on a regular basis. We have daily audios here on YouTube for your perusal, and hopefully you'll share these with friends and family as needed. Today we're going to discuss something that is central to the work that I do, and that is the belief that we are alone or ever alone, and the need to search for unity rather than separation in modern day society. You know, when I work with people at a core, whether we're working with relationships, whether we're working with professional challenges or personal challenges, one of the biggest things that I hear from people is the misnomer that they are alone, misunderstood, or they can't find a common ground at any level. And that misnomer is responsible for so much of the emotional upset we see in society. It comes down to things like panic disorders or depression, anxiety, and all sorts of other psychological illnesses. While I'm not a psychological professional, I know as a coach that many of these root challenge emotional issues come down to that feeling of isolation. I'm alone, I'm not accepted, I'm not worthy of acceptance, there's something wrong with me, and I am broken. The misnomer in that is this, and I want to take just a little bit of time to help all of us realize a couple of things. One, we are never alone. However, the fear of being alone or the fear of being isolated, the fear of not being accepted is a root cause in almost every negative behavioral pattern that we see in our society, from use of substances to broken relationships, anger issues. All these other things come down to I'm either going to be alone or I feel alone. But let's look at the reality of that for just a second. In reality, we are a world full of 7.5 billion people, which means every feeling you have had, every experience you have had, every emotional roller coaster that you have been on, somewhere, someone in the world right now feels similar to the way that you do, or has felt similar to the way that you do, and therefore can create a feeling of commonality with you so that, after all, you aren't alone. One of the big challenges that exists within our society is the misconception that no one will understand where we are. And when we tell ourselves that long enough, we hold it to be true. But just because we hold something to be true doesn't mean that it actually is, does it? Especially in a world full of social media and interaction on YouTube, interaction through Twitter and Facebook, if we reach out from a place of authenticity, and when I say we, I'm talking about any person at any age, any racial background, any religious background, we can find commonality if we search for it. But we have to believe within ourselves that a couple of things are true. Firstly, that we are worthy to find that commonality. That's a challenge. And then the second, that the commonality exists somewhere within the world, somehow, even if we haven't seen it in a while or we don't know where to find it. One of the biggest challenging and scary statistics, at least to me, is that once every minute, once every 40 seconds actually, somewhere in the world somebody chooses to end their life. And the reality of that statistic is simply this. Those individuals, so we're talking about over 50 people in an hour. Actually, doing the math, it's even more than that, closer to 70 or 80 or so, feel the need to terminate their existence in the world because of those feelings of isolation. Now think about that. Those are individuals that are somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's partner, somebody's best friend, potentially someone that could bring beautiful music into the world or cure a disease, or be a parent, or be a friend, or develop the next great movie, or write the next great novel. All of these individuals have something in common: the misnomer that they are alone. Regardless of where you are emotionally right now, there's someone that has been where you are and that has survived it. And more than that, your emotions don't need to become your identity. Obviously, mental health is a major issue, but also, too, having someone in your corner in the form of a coach, a friend, or other individual is valuable regardless of who you are and where you are facing life. There are people who have challenges that are much different than yours, challenges that are very similar to yours, and people who look at your challenges and say that's not, as big a deal as you think it is, and others who would look at you and be inspired. All things happen to all people. In other words, there is a common ground, unity, for every person and every situation. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If you look around a room and you're looking for something, you'll find it because you're looking for it. But similarly, if you have convinced yourself with anything that something doesn't exist, a financial way, a personal relationship, value from your employer, value from your friends, value in a social group or in school if you're still in either college or high school, middle school, you'll find that too. You get what you search for. And so it's so important, if your emotional state is at a place of feeling alone, to remember a couple of things. Number one, there is someone that needs you out there just as much as you need them, because they feel just as alone, isolated, or scared, or other negative emotions as you do, which means there's a community of people who need you to contribute your feelings to them, your emotions to them, and things that they could benefit from you for, such as just somebody to listen, or somebody to give it advice or counsel, or just a listening ear, or maybe give the encouragement of a song. Now think about that too. Think about all the great ways that we have to connect with musical interlude or television or comics or other forms of entertainment that can be another outlet of extension that would say we're not alone because somebody felt this way and put it into a television program, a YouTube clip, or whatever have you. There is no true, complete separation in the world, because all of humanity is bound by basically 6 human needs. And for those that have studied Dr. Maslow, Abraham Maslow, who was major influencer in psychology, they would know that those 6 needs are security, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. And all human beings experience those 6 human needs in different ways. When you're feeling isolation or despair, it is because some of, if not many of, your needs aren't being met. And so one question that one has to ask, both on the personal level, is when I feel that low, what can I look at differently? Where can I shift my focus? What new meaning can I give to the things that I've already been through that would make me feel different? And then the other side, those of us that are having a good day, those of us that are in a strong space, we can be life savers for people that are having lower emotional experiences, and we can truly make that difference. The question unasked is the question unanswered. And so something as simple as, hey, how's your day going? Really, I have 10 minutes, talk to me about it. Or, hey, I've got 30 seconds, tell me something good that's happening to you, or tell me something you'd like to see changed. Something that simple when you're out and about talking with friends, or when you go to the mall, or when you're on a bus, that could actually change someone's mindset enough to save their life, which means all of us can make that difference. No one has to struggle alone, but there's this misnomer in society that says, I've got to deal with my problems on my own. I've got to deal with my challenges on my own. This is my mess. I made it. There's something wrong with me. I'm the one that put myself in this place of addiction or this place of despair, and I've got to dig myself out. But that's a misnomer simply because we weren't created to be solitary creatures. If we were, we wouldn't desire relationships as much as we do. And every person that is someone that we now consider a friend, guess how they started out? They all started the exact same way. They started out as a stranger, and you took the decision, or they took the decision, to invest in you, to get to know you, to share with you in this thing called life. Now, sometimes it's hard because the fear of rejection trumps the reality of what could be in a friendship for somebody or something of that general nature. But the reality of that is, too, You don't have to feel so isolated unless you choose to focus on what you do not have. What you do not have can be trumped nearly every time by what you can create, by giving yourself an infinite look at possibility. Remember, everything you once didn't know how to do, you learned, you studied, you decided that I am capable of doing. And if it is a social challenge for you to make new friends, a new friend is just a person that you reach out to and you say, hey, I wonder if we have something in common. Hey, I wonder if we can discuss this thing, or if there's something that we would share in common with each other, just as a concept. It doesn't mean that every person you reach out to is going to accept you. But it also doesn't mean that every person you reach out to is going to reject you or be out of alignment with what you need in your life. Realization is, if we want the world to change, if we want it to become a better place, we all have to be invested in each other. Because the investment in each other, so that others do not feel isolated, so that others do not feel ostracized or bullied, is the beginning of healing a world which focuses on separation instead of unity. Each and every one of us can take a few seconds out of every day just to make sure that a fellow human being is doing okay. We all can do that. We can make excuses all day long. Oh, I'm too busy. What if they don't want to talk to me? What if they think I'm weird? What if they think I'm ugly? What if they think this or that? What if they don't? What if all they're wanting out of the experience of being in the same space with you is someone to ask if they're doing all right, someone to ask if they need a hand with something, someone to give them a great chocolate chip cookie just because they could use an extra bit of sugar on that day, or whatever the case may be. Each and every one of us has a certain responsibility, a responsibility to the creation of the collective humanity that we want to be part of. Do we want that to be a place of exclusion or inclusion? Do we want it to be a place of separation, or do we want it to be a place of unity? And there are many qualifiers, from belief systems to religions to politics to all sorts of things that people can debate all day long. But at the end of the day, we're all searching for connection in one form or another. And if we choose to find unity, if we choose to find common ground, we can certainly find it. We can find it with people we know and people we don't. People from one place in the world and all the way halfway around the world again. Or we can find that separation. We can use qualifiers of power and judgment. But what do you choose to do? Today, in this moment, what do you choose to do when it comes to reaching out to somebody else? If you knew that one compliment, one kind word, one word of encouragement, one question could change someone's life, could save someone's life, would you ask the question, or would you just let it go by? And if you could do that just by being you, just by lighting up and saying, I am here, and I may not understand everything you're going through, but I do agree that we need to come together, and I don't want to see you go through it alone. And I care even if I don't know you, because I can. Because I've made an active choice to care about how other human beings relate with the world. If you said that, what if that meant you saved someone's life today? What if that meant someone struggling with negative emotions could feel, even for a minute, even for 5 minutes, that they matter? And what if they look back on that singular moment that you went out of your way and broke your comfort zone to say they mattered, as a moment where they saw themselves different and worthy? And then years later they come back and they say, hey, this person changed my life, they saved my life, they changed the view of how I perceive myself, and therefore I went on to do great things. See, 86,400 times every day we have that opportunity. What we do with it is our own choice. The power of choice and the power of focus. Those are the two things that no one can ever take away from all 7.5 billion of us. The question I have for you, the question I have for all of us is, what are you going to do with yours? Do you want to be a trendsetter and a leader? Or do you want the world to continue to pile statistics that are negative that none of us want to see? Because the trendsetter is going to go out of their way to find unity and inclusion. The person who is worried about what other people might think, they're just going to think that they can't make enough of a difference. Automatically, by listening to this video, you've made a difference. Not even that, but if you share this with somebody who's having that bad day, share this somewhere, and it makes a difference for them, you've made a ripple effect difference on their friends, on their family, on people that matter to them. So the question is, are you a difference maker? And if you're not yet, would you be? Could you be? Starting today by making a difference, by sharing this with somebody you think might be uplifted by it. This is Scott Golden with Golden Opportunities Coaching, reminding you keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody, follow us on Twitter @POPerception. Also, leave a comment below if there's a future video you'd like to see. In any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.